Ja, herzlich willkommen zur neuen Ausgabe SI Talk und bei mir ist heute ein Update von Copper Mountain. Jim O'Rourke sitzt neben mir und ich muss ehrlich sagen, seit unserem letzten Interview, das ist ungefähr 4 Monate aus, hat die Company eine sensationelle Performance gehabt, plus 100%, ist natürlich sehr stark auch mit dem Kupferpreis, hängt unmittelbar mit dem Kupferpreis auch zusammen. Aber da sieht man, welchen Hebel eine Company haben kann, wenn es in die richtige Richtung läuft. Und seit dem letzten Herbst haben wir fast 400% plus gemacht. Da kommen wir schon ganz knapp hin auf diese 10-Bagger-Geschichte, die ich im November Ihnen gesagt habe. Also da fehlen nicht mehr so viel. Das sind gerade einmal 150%, dann haben wir schon. Jim, thank you to have time. I says in my German introduction, you are we do our first interview 4 months ago,
right?
And since then we have a performance over 100%.
Right.
Since November, that was my first recommendation to a company, we have over 400% performance.
Right.
So we are coming close to the 10-bagger, what I expected from your company.
Very good.
11, 12 months ago.
Right.
For sure, a big portion of this move is also the copper price.
Right. I was going to say it's not all of us.
That would be good. It would be good. But you always need a support from the copper price.
Right, right. And we're very bullish on that in the future.
Yeah, and what I also see a little bit is, and maybe you can tell me a little bit more about this feeling, is that copper is now really coming back to the mind of the investment community.
Right.
That was 10, 12 months ago, nobody was interested in copper. No, 14 months ago, nobody was interested, but now it's really heavy back.
Right.
So how you see the fundamentals from the market itself before we come to your company?
Well, I think from our point of view, as I said, we're very bullish on copper. And, you know, you look around and the big move from electric cars toward electric cars, you know, all over the world. And, you know, typically an electric car is probably 3 times as much copper as a normal car. And then also the fact that it uses electricity, we're going to need power plants and everything to support that, plus the wiring for charging them. I mean, I think from our point of view, we even see it a difficult situation how the copper market is going to keep up with the desires of the public to go greener with these electric devices.
I saw also then some troubles by big companies like Freeport in Indonesia with Grasberg, or also in Chile, and also when you look in the last few years, there are not really too much mines coming on.
That's right. Well, we went through about a year or so ago, we went through that $2 copper period, and I think everyone was struggling just to keep their operations going. There was really no investments for new projects, nor were people looking for new projects, whereas now, you know, it'll be like, you know, the farmers that had a good crop, then there was, you know, they oversold, and now they decide not to plant any more of those vegetables because there was excess, and so now we're in that stage, I think. So I think we're in a good position now for a good run on copper and a nice increase in the cycle, and I think the world is generally moving toward that and moving toward more of the electrical use as opposed to the gasoline.
And now coming to your operation, maybe you can fill us a little bit in. The third quarter was coming up on production, how it looks like, runs everything smoothly and so on?
Yes, I mean we've had a very nice third quarter, and we've released our production results, and our tonnage is nice, the operation is very stable, and we're getting very good productivity out of the mine. The mine is, I think we guided 180,000 ton a day, and we're running typically at plus 190,000 ton a day. Similarly in the mill, the processing, we guided 38,000 ton a day, and typically we're running in the 42,000 ton a day.
Wow.
So we're beating our production in terms of guidance, In terms of copper production, we guided 75 to 85 million pounds this year, and we're right on track to attain that.
Do you see any potential of expansion over the next few years?
Yes, I think as we discussed, with a little bit higher copper price, everyone's had a little more money, so we've been doing a little more drilling. We did some drilling within our pit area, and that has been quite successful. We've put out those results, but also we're drilling an adjacent property, the Ingerbell property right now. We're doing about 1,000 meters of drilling there, and that's going very well. And we put out the first hole, and it's of grades better than what we're mining now. So that could add another 10 years to the mine life in the event that it all works out.
Okay, but this means you use this for expansion of the mine life, not to increase the tonnage of the mill itself?
That's correct. Yeah, we're mainly looking at extending the mine life. We'd probably be in the plus 20-year life, with this, and I think that's where we want to go. And then we've been looking at other opportunities as well.
That is a good point. That was be my next question, opportunities. With this higher copper price, you generate a lot of cash. First you pay back your debt and so on, but then it's come to a point where you look maybe for other opportunities.
Right.
So in which area we can think that you look for opportunities?
Well, I think it would be in safe jurisdictions. I think we feel that our mine here is in a very secure jurisdiction. I mean, it's Canada. We don't have any real difficulties politically. And we'd be looking at similar areas, the Americas and Australia. And both of those areas are very stable, and that's where we'd be looking.
Do you think that we can expect something in the next, that I can get a time frame in the next 10, 12, 24 or 36 months or something?
Well, I would hope so, because, we've been looking for about 2 years. I think we've looked at about 150 projects.
Okay.
And we've not found anything that we felt met our investment criteria and that would be very accretive to the company. So we have a few that we've narrowed it down to that look a little more attractive. And we've been looking at these during the depressed copper period, so that we're looking at, we're not bottom feeders, but we are looking at good value for our investment. And so any project that we would tackle, we would want it to be very accretive for our shareholders.
So this means you are not starting the process now or a few months ago, so you already in the process since
a couple of years
ago. Okay, so it's also that I saw a lot of companies they are coming now on the idea copper is maybe the next flavor and start now to look to some projects. So you are deep in this process and
I think that's typical. As I said, it's like the farming. When prices are depressed, nobody's looking. And there's lots of opportunities, and those are the ones we've been looking at. As the price of copper goes up, of course, everyone gets into the fray, and it gets very competitive, and we just definitely didn't want to be in that situation.
Jim, I think it was a good update. Hopefully next time when we come over, the copper price is much higher.
Right.
So hopefully we reach my 10-bagger criteria then the next time.
Right.
So I think from the valuation, it's cheap. Already with this good performance, already cheap stock from my point of view. It's exactly, you can say something about this, but that's my own feeling that the copper stock has a lot of room for improvements.
Right. And, remember that for about every 10 cents in the rise of copper price, it's worth about $12 million to us per year. So
and this is a good leverage.
We're extremely highly leveraged to copper.
That's perfect. Ja, das war jetzt ein Update von Copper Mountain. Produktion läuft super, hat er ja gesagt, sie machen 190.000 Tonnen am Tag, das muss man sich mal vorstellen. Die Produktion selber, die Mühle rennt mit 42.000 Tonnen pro Tag, 38.000 Tonnen war eigentlich nur geplant. Also die Produktionszahlen fürs dritte Quartal sind sehr, sehr gut. Was spannend war, und deswegen habe ich ein bisschen auf diesen Punkt herumgeritten, das war Akquisitionen bzw. Expansion. Und er sagt selber, sie haben in der Mine genug Potenzial, das Minenleben zu verlängern. Nicht die Produktionsgröße selber, sondern das Mine Life, wie es so schön heißt im Neuenglischen, im Neudeutsch, dass man das Minenleben verlängert. Sie haben jetzt auch ein neues Projekt angefangen, das liegt sozusagen daneben, da sind die ersten Bohrungen laufen. Wenn das alles genauso kommt, dann haben Sie um 10 Jahre ein längeres Minenleben. Und der zweite Punkt war eben auch, ob Sie auf irgendwelche Akquisitionen auch schauen. Und da war es für mich auch wichtig, dass er gesagt haben, Sie schauen schon die letzten 2 Jahre. Also es ist nicht irgendein Prozess, den Sie jetzt gerade mal gestartet haben, sondern nein, Sie schauen schon der letzten 2 Jahre, ob sich irgendwas ergibt, wo sind die Preise. Aber natürlich ist es so, dass mit diesem starken Kupferpreis auch die Preise der Projekte angezogen sind. Sie haben aber bis jetzt eigentlich noch nicht wirklich was Interessantes entdeckt. Trotzdem ist das genau der Weg, wo man die Expansion weitermachen kann. Und er hat auch zum Schluss Statement nochmal gesagt, man sollte nicht vergessen, dass jede 10 Cent, die beim Kupferpreis dazukommen. Das letzte Mal haben wir gesprochen, irgendwo, da waren wir bei 2,90, jetzt sind wir bei 2,24, 2,25, bei 3,25, also 30 Cent ungefähr höher, macht 12 Millionen Dollar Jahresprofit mehr, also eben 10 Cent. Das wäre jetzt sozusagen, wenn der Preis da oben bleiben würde, 36 Millionen Dollar mehr Profit. Und das ist eigentlich ein extremer Hebel drauf. Und deswegen bin ich sehr zuversichtlich, dass wir die Tenberger Kriterien beim nächsten Mal, oder wenn es so weiterläuft, relativ schnell erreichen werden. Und von dort werden wir dann sehen, was sie noch machen mit dem Geld, was sie dabei produzieren. Das war's von Copper Mountain, Oktober 2017. Tschüss und Baba.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very nice talking to you again.